Good morning, Flosstube. My name is Laura, and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel all about cross stitch with a little bit of paper crafting thrown in too. If you are new, I'd like to say welcome. Thank you so much for pressing play and checking out my channel. I hope you like what you see. Hit like, subscribe, and feel free to ask questions. I do my best to answer them, or I will ask others if I don't know the answer. And if you're a returning stitching friend, thank you so much for being here, for sharing stitching with me, and letting me have this time each week with you, and we can just share our love of stitching. I really do appreciate it. So we'll see today. I am in, somebody did ask me where Stitching by the Shore was. I am in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, if you are new to my channel. We have had funny weather. It's been in the low 60s quite a bit for the last several weeks. And today it is been warmer. And so I am in a second floor. And when they built this house, the air didn't quite work properly up here. So it is a little bit warm up here. So I might talk a little bit faster, especially near the end, as I get warmer and warmer. So we'll see what happens, but we will just give it a try and see. Before I get started with my projects, I have 9 projects to show you and a scrapbook page finished to show you as well. I did want to just mention, I talked about my Facebook page last week. And the one thing I forgot to tell you was the title of it. It's Stitching by the Shore, Laura. As a reminder, we talk, there might be pet pictures, there might be vacation pictures. I post pictures of and links to recipes as I try them. I'm vegan, so I like to show some options for people. So it's not just stitching. If you are just, I want stitching and nothing but, it probably might not be the place for you. But if you'd like to share in a little bit of everything, we try to help each other with colors of fabrics and flosses and things like that. You're more than welcome. You just have to answer the questions and agree to the rules. So, but it is called Stitching by the Shore. All right, so let's just jump right into our projects and get talking stitching here. First one, I am determined by the end of the summer to have this one finished. This one is not my official 25/7, but I did several days this week. It's funny light today. I did several days this week, put in like a strand or two just to get it moving along a little bit. This is called On the Beach. It's from Stitchrovia. And I am, I'm bogged down right here. I'm determined though. By the end of summer, I am throwing that out there. By the end of summer. And I kind of hope like by the end of August summer, not the official switch over summer, that it will be done. So this is where I'm at. I mean, it doesn't look much different. I can even fold it over. Well, so this is the full thing, if you've not seen it before. And it's stitched on 18 count beach sand, and that's from To Die For Fabrics. So let's just fold it over, because beyond a little bit of back stitching and a few extra stitches thrown in here and there, that part's all done. So that's really what I'm doing. It was bound to happen. And I don't know if you can still see, you can see where I had to pull the stitches out. So this is basically, up here there's a third color obviously, but then down here in this whole section there's 2 colors. And it's a specific design, it just keeps repeating itself. So it looks it looks cool in person. But I mean, it can get a little bit repetitive. There is a page break, and so, mistakes were bound to happen. And knock on wood, I only have 1 so far, and it happened this week. So I miscounted an extra row of 3, which threw my whole wave off. And I can't really fudge this. Luckily, it was just the 1. So I pulled out those stitches. I haven't redone it yet, but I did some down over here. I did some across this way here. I haven't quite gotten, there is a beach ball, which will break up some of the blue monotony somewhere around here. So once I get to that, then I, we'll throw that in there too. But yeah, this is one where you really kind of have to follow, because the waves definitely create the design. So if I just fudged it down there, you'd be like, I guess you could say, ooh, what's happening in the water down there? But I just decided to pull. It was, like I said, it wasn't even a full strand. I probably 2 or 3 rows of whatever, just pulled it out, chopped it there and, you know, ran the threads under. So, so again, you may see this on a weekly basis. It may not look much different, but I really do just want to try to, what I've been doing is on a day, whatever day I pick it up, I pick either one of the two blues and I find different spots to fill that in. And then the next time I do the other blue and go from there. So it's getting there. You know, it's not like it needs to be done for display for summer. That will be scrapbooked. So I'm not particularly worried about that kind of thing, that, oh, well, summer's basically here, I need to get it finished. No, it's just, it's been hanging around for a while now. I can't remember when I started it. I'd have to look in my book, but it's been a while. It's been a while, so it needs a finish. Now, one that you've seen, I'm watching my giveaway bowl start to slowly slide away from me. I think I can still, yeah, I can still reach it. I started this a few weeks ago, and I am just, obsessed is a strong word, but I feel the need to at least get 200-300 stitches a week in. And sometimes I've been doing it like at the end of a day, I'm not sure what else to stitch, and I say, I'm going to stitch this, and I'm going to keep going back with it. And it's my Spring Quaker from Lila Studio. So that's what the original looks like. I know you've probably seen it. Lots of people have been stitching it or have stitched it. I don't know when it came out, to be honest with you. I remember seeing it and thinking, I adore this middle piece, and I debated on buying it for just that middle piece. I was like, I don't know. But then the more I saw people stitch the whole thing, I just, and I have, what, 1, 2, 3 patterns that have the word Quaker in the title. So you can see how I'm at this point just really immersing myself in Quakers. I love them. I love all the little tiny patterns. So I finally gave in and I said, I have to stitch this. But I had a big dilemma about the brown because it wasn't saying spring enough to me. I've seen them finished in brown and they're gorgeous. So I did change it up. First, I was just going to change fabric, which I did. And I still wasn't quite sure about the browns, so I changed flosses too. So we have a complete and total change at the moment. So that was the original. Let me show you where mine is at the moment. This is what mine looks like. Oh, I just love this. I love stitching on this so much. In the main picture, let me just show you real quick. There is, so for example, let me make it bigger in this corner. The ABC, this element, all of that, they're the one type of brown, and that I think is more predominant. And then there is a lighter brown right here that is not as predominant in the pattern. So I chose 2 different greens. I wanted one that was really huntery and one that, the browns are not that much different in this. So I took that as a guide. So this one is a little bit lighter. In person, you can tell that they are 2 different colors. I'm not sure on the screen if you can. So this one is, I believe, 500 and that one's 319. I'm almost sure. I don't think it's the other way around. I'm almost sure this was 500 and the other one is the 319. And I just love it. Now I'm almost done with page 1. I just have part of an element right here, but I chose to go this way because I did want to finish this whole motif in the 319 so that I could really see the 2 contrasts between the green. I mean, I was keeping this one because I do like that. I wanted something that was deep, really deep green, and this one really fit the bill. But I was reserving judgment on whether or not I would change that one up. But no, I love it, so I'm keeping that. And then this color right here is very fuchsia-y in the DMC alternative. I want to say that that's an over dyed floss. I'm using 3687, and I don't know if I will use that throughout the pattern in those colors, or if I'll choose something else or what. I have a pink dilemma because this week I did stitch this flower. Now this is a different green that is called for, but what's nice is it's more of a It's not in the complete yellow green category, but it definitely falls in that. So when I look at it, I can tell that it's a completely different green than these other two. So I will keep that charted green in the pattern itself where she has it charted. This is a beautiful pink, but because I'm doing it on this rose hips, you can see it, but I don't know. I'm going to leave it for now. So I stitched it. I wasn't sure, and I'm going to let it sit. What my concern is, if I show you the original, there is, for example, on either side, those two flowers right there are also that color. And they're not surrounded by anything. They have to stand up on their own. In the center, those are probably the same color, but they've got the deeper color surrounding it. So I am thinking that I might have to do a little work about that. I'm thinking about doing the whole thing and finishing the center part last, just because it's such a beautiful piece. So we'll see what happens there. This pink may stay just because it's just a little element. I completely see just having all these different springy colors just thrown throughout here. I love, and this is the called for. I love that color there. And then I did change. So in the original, the words are done in black. I can't remember if it's just 310 or what. It might be. Now, against the brown, I think that especially on, say, a more neutral color, the black looks really nice. I felt like on the pink fabric, with the brighter kind of elements or more springy, I felt like the black was not quite, you know, kind of fitting in. So I did throw in brown. So this is actually 938 is what I'm stitching the words in. So they're going to be in a brown, and it's a kind of nice chocolate brown, which is what I like against the pink. I think in person the pink might be a little bit, well, maybe not. Maybe right there. That shows it good. That's about the shade. But if I come forward for you, you see how that's more of a chocolatey brown? I really like that against the pink. So all the words are going to be done in that instead of the black. There may be other spots where black is, you know, obviously like in the B, the black worked perfectly. So it won't be a straight, complete change like the two greens for browns are. But you will see that thrown throughout, and I love it. I wasn't sure. Again, I pulled out my DMC card. I pulled out several browns to see what might be what I was thinking in my head, and I'm really, really happy with the choice. So I love, love, love this one. Now I am starting Summer Quaker the first day of summer. I know I'm starting it with the Steadfast Stitcher, Beth, and I think Debbie, Owl and Gator Stitcher, is also starting it. And I'm not sure if Mary from Mary Stitching Corner, she talked about wanting to stitch it. I'm not sure if she will have it, but she's stitching the spring one, which is beautiful. So that's what she's doing, and she may join us. And then, of course, some non-Flosstube friends are also joining us, and I'm super, super excited. We actually do have a hashtag. It is hashtag Summer by the Shore SAL. So if you are stitching this and you want to start throwing that hashtag on, if you've already started, if you want to wait and start with us on the first day of summer, I'm having a real tough time waiting, but I have other things planned. So I will hold myself back and wait and start it on the first day of summer with Beth. So that's that. Yeah, that would be, I'm just thinking in my head if there was a way we could do some sort of Zoom that night and we can start it. I don't know, I'll think about it. Now that I've got Zoom, I'm like all over like, let's Zoom. Anyway, so that's what this one looks like. And I'm sure you'll see it next week because I'm just obsessed. I keep adding more of the parts of it and more of the colors and just see it all just emerge. I love it. Absolutely love it. All right, moving on. This one is another color change. Oh, I didn't write the colors down though, but they will be in the description box. So this is from the Heart, Needleart by Wendy, and it's called Quaker Blooms. She has some beautiful Quakers, and they're nice and tiny, so that they're really kind of nice if you want a smaller piece. What does this one say? It is stitch count of 81 wide by 117 high. So it is most definitely, there's a lot of stitches in here. I'm working on this element. I thought I'd get it done and I didn't. It is huge, obviously probably the biggest part of this. And I just could not, even though I put in a valiant effort. So this is mine. Let me just show you for a second the two. I started with the original colors if you're new, and it just wasn't vibing with this fabric. So I did a complete color conversion to brighter colors. This almost is summery to me because these colors are vibrant and bright. I'm trying to say those two words together. And so it just really just popped in my mind. The fabric itself is 18 count Summer Storm, and it's from To Die For Fabrics. And if you go to the description box, I list under this listing, I list the fabric and I will list all of, I just list the 5 out that are, there's only 5, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I list the 5 out that I have changed. It's pretty much like for like. So the light blue is the darker blue color. The light green is the darker green color. The pink is the only one that's a little bit, it's the peachy color. But otherwise, it's pretty easy. But if you have a question, feel free to you know, send me either a DM on Instagram. My Instagram's down below, or you can send me a Gmail, and I will let you know. If you have a question about one of them, I'd be happy to help. But I love it. I love the change. I haven't decided if I'm putting the word bloom here yet. I'll stitch everything else and then decide what I want to do there. If I want to keep that word, change it, do something else, so on and so forth. So I almost got this done. I have just this bottom part left over here, and then I have another yellow, 2 yellows. So 2 yellow pieces here in the bottom, and then that piece is done, and then I can continue on with that. So this would be fun to get this done by the end of summer. I don't necessarily see putting this out. If I did, maybe I would do a nice little simple frame, and I would probably keep something like this out year round. What I plan on doing is I have, well, I didn't put them up, Mo put them up. I have 2 IKEA, the floating shelves, and they're the shelves with the lip, the end lip, so I can put, you know, kind of stagger things. I have those up on the walls. They're not huge, you know, and there's several pieces that I would want up all the time, like Lady Halloween and Mary Poppins, and if I do finish out floors. So there might be some rotation going on here. I don't necessarily know if I'd hang a bunch of things on the walls. If I ever finish some full coverages, I might. But this might be fun in a little frame. Otherwise, it'll just be scrapbooked. I really love flipping through my scrapbook, so that's not a hardship to put it in there. But again, feel free if you'd like to know my colors, and it's a little unclear for whatever reason on the description. Okay, I have my full finish. Generally what I do when I do my, it's a loose order of maybe how I stitched them, how I worked on pieces during the week, this and that. So I used to do, okay, we're going to do starts, or we're going to do finishes, then we're going to do, you know, works in progress, then we're going to do starts. I kind of now just mix it all up, and it pretty much just all flows, and we just talk whatever we're on with talk. And so, oops, I have a little bit of extra. So this was a full finish that I did to a scrapbook page. This is an old piece I stitched is a relative term because I got back to stitching probably late summer, autumn, you know, early fall in 2019. So this was probably stitched in early 2020. So, I mean, it is 3 years now. I mean, it feels like 27 years since early 2020, but you know, that's what it looks like. And it's a really cute, I don't know if I've given this away. If I haven't, I'll look for it and I'll give away this pattern because I don't see stitching it again. It's probably like a Country Cottage Needleworks or one of those. Now, at the time, I had discovered fabric that wasn't white, cream, ecru, black from 123 Stitch, but it wasn't really hand dyed. It was more like the Zweigart colors. So that's where I started branching into colors before I found hand dyeds. Then, you know, we've never looked back. Although I do like using some of the Zweigart colors at times too. I probably, oh, I would have loved to have done this in Nantucket Sky. I probably now, if I was to stitch this, wouldn't stitch it on this color. My guess is maybe it's like a mystic gray. I don't know. I could look it up in the book if you really wanted to know. I just thought it was super cute. So what I did was I mimicked the colors. I really wanted to mimic the blue in the flowers and the door. It's not 100% the same, but it's pretty darn close. I had about 4 or 5 different blues that I was trying to match it to. And then I wanted a red base. I knew that. Turquoise and red, awesome color combination if you're looking for color combos. It's a fantastic, I've done cards like that, and I really do like that combo, just as an aside. And then I knew I didn't have a clue what I wanted to do with the rest of the page. And in the back of my head, I knew I had this picket fence metal die. I think it's from Tailored Expressions, if I had to guess off the top of my head, if anybody's interested. And so white picket fence, we knew we wanted to mimic what was here. And I just die cut that out of just plain white cardstock, nothing fancy. I have a manual die cutter. I don't have an electric one. I think it's the Big Shot. There's lots of them out there, but that's the one I've had, probably a good 15 years now. I don't use it anywhere near what I used to when I was a card maker. But what I wanted to talk about here, so you can see trying to glue something like this on could be a real challenge. And one of my favorite stamp makers, stamp companies, cardstock companies, they have stamps, inks, cardstock, you name it, is Gina K Stamps. Gina K is an outstanding human being who is a real advocate for women-owned businesses, lifting women up, really promoting each other. And she has a fabulous product to boot, and she's very creative. She does have a Flosstube that she does tutorials. And one of the people that uses a lot of her stuff is Jennifer McGuire Inc., who also has a Flosstube, is incredibly talented as a paper crafter. I'll list both of their channels down below if you're interested. But Jennifer does a lot of die cutting. And so there's got to be ways to attach the die cut. And one of the things she uses is this Gina K Connect glue. And I had never tried it. And I said, you know what? Let's give it a go. I love this thing. So it goes out white, but it dries clear. It's got the nice little tip. Let me see if I just undo. It's got the tip. So I was able to, basically what I did was I just put a light layer all the way down all of those little segments there. Super, super light layer. I put it down. I had it a tiny bit crooked. I was able to finagle it a little bit before it was completely attached. And so if you are doing any paper crafting and you need small little things attached, for example, you know, die cuts of words, those are always a bear to try to attach. This is awesome. So I'll list Gina K's site. I'm sure you can get it a lot of other places, whether it's Simon Says Stamps. I don't even know. 123 Stitch does have die cuts, so maybe they have something like this, but I'm not sure they would. Scrapbook.com might have it, and other places I don't even know about, but Frantic Stamper might too. I just can't say enough about this glue. I really, really like it. They do ship it all year round because apparently it has a freeze thaw additive, so it doesn't matter when you order it, it does get shipped to you. And so that's my finish. So that will go into the scrapbook. I love it. I'm slowly, I think this size scrapbook, and you can't, it's right, go that way. It's right there. It's the gray one. If I could reach it, I'd pull it down. This one's probably, this size is getting a lot of use because I do stitch a lot of smalls along with some of the bigs. The bigs just take longer to finish, right? So I get a lot of the smalls finished first. And so, yeah, look, this size would be perfect in this size pattern. So that could very well go in the scrapbook, especially if I do some more of Wendy's Quakers. So, if you're thinking about a certain size, this one, it's 6 by 8-ish. My bases are there, and I will put information on the back. I'll put a tag on there with the information. It's 8 and I cut the base 8.5, 6 and 1/8. On my die cutter, I have a guillotine die cutter, Tonic Studio Guillotine, and it's 6 plus 2. I say +2, it's +2 lines, +2 ticks. So, and that's the size they fit into my paper hold, my, I've just blanked out on what they are. You know, the plastic covers that you stick things in, you know, page protectors. There we go. It fits perfectly into my page protector, and I'm able to flip through my scrapbook. Again, I've said this before, as the scrapbooks get fuller, I will do flip throughs. I do have a playlist of scrapbooking your stitches. So if you are interested in seeing different ideas of different types of books, different types of tapes, glues, whatever, I do some pages that I've done as videos. Feel free to hop on over to that playlist. All right. My full coverage this week, and it'll be next week as well probably, is my mini Paris morning. It is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. The artwork is by Uliana Babenko. And this was the piece. Last week I told you I'm pretty sure I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted pink. I don't know, maybe it's the influence of the pink fabric on Spring Quaker. And I just felt like stitching some pink. So if I hold it back for you, you can see I am about an inch from the bottom. I can't remember how many stitches. I really wanted to do pink, so I didn't even look. Yesterday, I think I looked and I was curious how far down this went, and I was like, wow, I don't have much left here. So maybe this week I might just get this bottom corner done so then we can turn that corner. But let's fold it over because I didn't work on any of that purple this week. So this is what it looks like. And I really focused, you can fold it over again, on just all sorts of pinks on this side. This is the far corner. I think I had one of the colors done with that, so I did another color to start filling it in. But then I really was loving these different shades of pink. There's a bunch of different shades of pink. And there's a few pieces of confetti-ish here and then up there, but I've been starting to fill that in and get some more solid. What I should do is look for some of those symbols over here because I do have a few pieces of confetti. And if I was smart, I would just kind of do the whole thing as I was going back and forth. I almost said I'll do some blue, but I was just so entrenched in the pink. So we'll see. Maybe I'll do that little bit of purple at the bottom to get to the end. Maybe I'll fill in some more pinks here. Maybe I'll do some sky. I do about 100 stitches. I try a day on my full coverage for 10 days so that they get about 1,000 stitches. And then I change my rotation. 18 count white aida. Look at that. You can start to see here the door and through the window and all that. 18 count white aida, 2 strands over 1 full cross. And that's how I've been doing all of my full coverage. It just seems to work for me, so I haven't really tried any other type. Yeah, so this one will, excuse me, this one will stay, and I will do another week's worth of stitching on that one, I think. All right, now this is my true 25/7 piece. I feel like I'm never gonna get it finished. So I missed my June 1st deadline. Megan moved into her apartment yesterday. I got periodic texts. I was hoping at the end of the day I might get a picture, but I mean, her and Liz were up and out of here by 7:30 in the morning, and they're not early risers, and it was a long day, so I don't know when their day ended, so I'll ask today for pictures. But anyway, Meg has moved to Philadelphia now that she's graduated college, and so I am stitching this for her. And it's fun, but it is, so this side you're gonna see pretty much done. But do you see all these extra colors right here? It looks so cool, but it means a lot of stitching. And 25-ish, I usually go 25 to 35 a day. Means I can probably get about 3 strands in, depending, unless it's like I jump around. So I found this color in a few different spots and tried to fill that in. I think I did some white one of the days. I definitely filled in whatever was left over here. So give or take 2-3 strands in my 25 a day. So it's taking some time. I feel like maybe it'll come together really fast at the end, but just not as fast as I thought. This is 18 Count Nantucket Sky by Fabrics by Stephanie. And, you know, just plugging away. Really, really fun. This company has a ton of cities. So if you were interested in a specific one, I do have it linked in the description box below. Not much to say about it, but I am enjoying it. I am. I think it'll be fun. You know, it'll be cool when it's finished. So I missed my June 1st deadline. So now we're gonna use July 1st as the deadline to see if I can get another month's worth of 25/7, and hopefully that will give me a finish. And then it most likely will be something like a simple frame, something like that. I'm not really sure. Type of thing. I'm not sure if she can put things in the wall. I guess she could do command strips if possible to hang it up, or if it needs to be a table. I'll know more once it's done. I'll work with her to figure out. I haven't decided if I would do like a simple white frame or maybe like a nice blue frame. A navy blue might be nice given the fabric color. I think I'd play around with that. Okay, next piece. I made the decision. So if you watched last week, you saw that for Dandelions, Force Embroidery, I started this 3 times on 3 different fabrics. And the one from left field that I wasn't planning on is the one I went with. So there's a spoiler alert. So this is what it's called. It's called Dandelions. There are 6 in the series. I want to say the series is like Garden of, let's see. For some reason, it's not letting me make it smaller. It's something like Garden of Flowers series. There's 6 of them. Yeah, that's just taking me back to the main site. You know why? Because I think it took me to the Etsy app versus the online version. I think that's what it did. Anyway, so this is what this one looks like. And that's what I'm focusing on. And I really thought it would be on that kind of color. It just wasn't working. So I did go with the 18 count Twilight Mist from To Die For Fabrics. And that's what it looks like. I'm really enjoying it. So in person, I don't know on the camera if this color is showing up very well. In person, it shows up fine. And I've been just trying to add a bunch of the different colors. I think they're going to show up. There's some more purples that are even brighter than that. That's more of a periwinkle-ish. So I think it'll be fine. That's probably the one closest to this color of fabric. But I love how the white's popping. I really wanted the white to pop. I know there's a lot of yellow, this yellow, so that also works well here. But I didn't want the white to just fade away. Because obviously the Dandelions, you have the yellow version and the white. So I really wanted to have both of those show up and not kind of fade into the fabric. So I didn't stitch a ton because, you know, I was back and forth on my fabrics. I finally made the decision. I probably got 300 stitches or so in just to kind of keep going with that. And we'll see what kind of rotation this goes on. I'm not really sure. I'm just so happy to have figured out what color to do. Because that was, boy, that was an effort. That was, most of the time I can kind of figure out fairly quickly, but once in, I don't know, maybe 1 in 20, 1 in 25 projects, I kind of like think to myself, I don't think that was the right color choice. I have one now that I'm really contemplating, and I keep trying to figure out if I want to change it or if I want to keep going on it. That's the only one right now. There's one in my set of projects that I really don't know. Other than that, I'm pretty good with all of my choices at the moment. Okay. I pulled this one back out because it had been a little while since I had done Beesy Spring, and this is from Cottage Garden Samplings, right? Yeah. It was one of their 12-part series for whatever year was this? 2021. This was number 5, so this would have been kind of like a springish version. And there we go. Again, I changed it up a bit. It's beautiful there. I decided I really wanted, it's a not the most like in your face vibrant green, but it's a pretty vibrant green. It's actually 18 count, what is it? Light Seaglass from To Die For Fabrics. And if I come up, my goal was to get this complete flower done. So that is done. Up here, I really think I want to add some petite treasure braid or something sparkly to some of the floss, because I did try stitching this and it was a little flat. I'm going to be honest, it was a little flat. I don't necessarily want something that's just a sparkly. I think I want like a floss sparkle mix. Do you know what I mean? So that's my thought there. And then this section right here is really cool. I've only got a little bit of that started. But these flowers are huge. They really are. And the center is really cool, but you have to do some good counting there. So that's where we are on this one. I started that in February. Carla from Carla's Being Crafty has a hashtag BEE, Be My Own Valentine SAL stitch along. And she does it every single February, and you pick something with a B on it. And this is the one I picked this year. My goal is just to have it finished before next February. It's a loose goal there. Carla finished hers. It's really cool what she did. I don't remember when she finished hers. It wasn't necessarily in February, but she did some recharting of the words so that she, her end tagline she put on the chart, and it's very cool how she did it. All right, next, I just, needed some sparkle in my life. So I went with the Wizard of Oz tree from Tiny Modernist. I say that because I'm doing it on opal fabric. And it does, if you're stitching with the sun shining, it just glistens. It's so cool. So that's what it looks like. And my color, this one's a bit more on the green side. I ended up going a little bit more towards the blue side. So that's it. That's what it looks like so far. So if I come up, I don't even need, there you go. You don't need to see the full edge. This is 18 count opal blue ice from To Die For Fabrics. And it is a wonderful, wonderful blue. And I love the little opal. I don't find her opals at all. Kimberly is To Die For Fabrics. I don't find her opals difficult to stitch through. I've heard sometimes people find it difficult, but it's just like regular Aida to me. I have finished flower over here, or leaf, I should say. I finished the leaf, did one here. I have one more leaf, but I was kind of leafed out. Worked there, started working. I couldn't decide. There's a bunch of different elements. This is the start of the broom for the witch. So that's what it looks like. And I am so thrilled that I did keep these greens because they show up really nicely now. I was a little worried because I started, did I miss a stitch? Ooh, I think I'm looking right now and I see an empty square in this leaf. I completely missed the stitch. Well, I still have another leaf to stitch, so that's fine. I'll go back and get it. But I did the light green first, and I wasn't sure. But as soon as I pop that darker green in, it really does show up. Especially because now, there'll be multiple on each side. And then all three of the rows of the tiers, four rows, they have it bracketed with those leaves. So I think it'll be really cool in the end. So that's where we are. I'm saving back stitching for the end because obviously there needs some back stitching here on the balloons. There'll be some back stitching through the broom, on the witch's face, all of that. So we'll get to that probably at the end, unless I have this real desire to do some back stitching one day. But lots of fun, super cute. So I couldn't decide which direction I wanted to go. So, and I will bring down, so right now I have the center just right here. I will bring that down soon so that I can do some of the other elements. I'm curious when you do, so these are trees. She has is it the Edgar Allan Poe tree? That one's really cool too. She has trees, you have tiered trays, you have all those different types of elements. Do you do the outline first and then fill in? I'm curious. Or do you do like I do? I kind of count things off of everything because I'm always want to make sure and check myself. So I'm curious, which way do you do it? Frame first, then fill in, or kind of everything at once? That's my question. All right. Last piece. This is from Jardin Privé, and it is my summer Quaker. I am determined to have this one finished by June 21st, by June 20th, I'm going to say, because June 21st, we start the Lila Studio Summer Quaker. So this one has to be done. I missed a bunch of Zooms this weekend. There were several different ones going on for Memorial Day weekend, but I was able to jump in on Friday night with Beth. Her Crafts and Books Facebook group is a lovely place, and Beth does multiple Zooms throughout the week. Beth moderates some, or hosts some, I guess, Christy, and then just some wonderful people in the Zooms. If you're interested, Crafts and Books is, and they also have a reading, so they have like a monthly reading book club, and you know, so there would be a Zoom for that every month too, if you're interested. So I am at the bottom, and you're gonna see I finished this element. I did all this, and now I'm working on the third house, which is the final house. So I'm getting there. There'll be a little bit of backstitch that has to be done at the end. That last house is huge though. So that's where I am. Oh, I did backstitch that butterfly. So it's really just, there's two butterflies. Do you see these just stray weird shapes? Those have to have backstitch. I do have to finish this element. And then the house and the backstitch. And I think there's one other little thing. And that's because this is all done. This and this. Oh, no, there's a little bit. There's another big flower part down here. So I'd say within the next 2 weeks, I think I can get this one done. If I do, if I can jump on some Zooms, this will be my Zoom piece rather than my Owl Forest Black Vintage Sampler, because I definitely want to get this done. I'm trying to think if I have any car stitching, and we were in the car a lot in May, so I'm kind of happy. I don't think there'll be any car stitching. Oh, I didn't tell you fabric. I don't think there's any car stitching necessarily in June, because I do this one I like a lot for a car stitch because it's one color, it's small, easy to do the pattern. I have a working copy so I can finagle it and manipulate it. This is 18 count My Sunshine from Be Stitch Me. It was, I believe, a fabric of the month, and it was just perfect. It is done at DMC 823, as all 4 seasons are and will be, and/or will be. And after this one, all I have left is autumn. Super excited. There was something else I was going to say about this. I don't remember. It's gone. So that's where it is. I think it would be a stretch to come back at you next week with a finish. But so I could have this one finished this month. I do. I want this one finished this month. And I want Philadelphia finished this month. And there's something in plans that is a finish in June. So I could have 3 finishes easily this month. I should, if my plans follow to form. So let's just jump right into plans. So I have never done cross stitch camp before. I've seen people do it, and I've heard people talk about it, and I just don't know why I didn't jump in. So I was watching Colorado Cross Stitcher, her latest video. I want to say it's number 39, but I don't quote me on that. It would have been her latest one in May, whenever it was, like maybe the second week in May, somewhere around there. She gave all the details because I'd never done it before, and I said, you know, and you don't have to do all summer. You can pick a month. There's themes for June, July, and August, and the whole idea is to start a piece, and goal is to finish it. Don't have to finish it, obviously, but that's kind of like a you know, part of a goal. I mean, it's just fun to get a finish, right? So the theme for June was to stitch something with a bird. So I went through my patterns and I looked for birds. Some were maybe a little too big if I was thinking about a finish for the month, and so on and so forth. And I had this one. I don't know why I haven't stitched it already. So I have from Lila Studio, Seasons Blessings 2. So this one gives you both the spring and the summer. I'm stitching my summer bird. That's going to be my cross stitch camp plan. So I put my post on Instagram yesterday to say what I'm doing. And this one, you'll see it got started today. So you'll see this next week. I, of course, changed the color fabric. but I'm keeping all of the called for flosses. I've pretty much stitched several of the colors, not all of them, and I'm really liking how it looks. So, and these are small. This is not huge. It's done on 40 count, I think, this sample, and it's something like 3 by 3.5. So mine is on 18 count, so it'll be a little bit bigger than that. But it's adorable. I can't wait to show you. It's starting off really, really cool. So that's my plan, and that was the first start of June for myself. I talked last week about 2 other pieces I want to start in June. I have got some orders out for gray fabric. I've talked about this before, when I got the temperature chart, I want to do a temperature chart. I want to do Mo's birth year and my birth year. We were born a year apart in the same city. So it's really cool because you are actually comparing apples to apples, right? Because it's the exact same. I don't know if there's 2 hospitals in the city we were born in. I'm not sure if we were born in the same hospital a year and a few months apart or what, but it's the same weather. And we both lived in that town for my first 3 years, 2.5, 3 years. For him, he was probably 8 or 9 when they moved. So, so we literally would have lived in the same city at the same time. So, I want to do his birth year, my birth year, but I want it on the same exact fabric. And an 18 by 21, which a lot of my fat quarters are, is not quite big enough. So I did have to order a bigger piece of gray. I had a few different options of places I ordered from. I don't think Bestitch Me is going to come in time. So if this other one works, I'll go with this one instead, because I do want to start that sooner rather than later. So, I'll use that fabric from Bestitch Me, so I'm not really worried about if I don't use it for this. But so that's also, fingers crossed, I'm hoping. And what I'll do is I will stitch them concurrently. So I will not do one year, his year, and then my year, or vice versa. I will do them kind of like, if you remembered how I did that same pattern on 2 different fabrics, I would stitch a part and then I would stitch the same part, and I went back and forth so that they got finished at the exact same time. And those will be scrapbooked. I think that'd be really cool. If at some point I'm feeling really, really adventurous, I would do Megan and Connor's birth years as well. They are also born in the same hospital, in the same city that Mo and I were, well, again, I'm not sure which hospital Mo and I were born in, but I know which hospital the kids were born in, and they were both the same. And they're just about 20 months apart. So it wouldn't be a year to year. It would be 2001, 2003 next to each other, but it would be the same city. So it'd still be kind of cool. So that's also a plan down the road, hopefully, as well. So we'll see. I got a lovely little piece of happy mail. I got this beautiful, beautiful card. Love the purples and going into the blues. Again, if you're looking for color conversions, look at things like this. If you wanted to add different greens together, you can see the shades, match them up, match that up to some of the shades in, say, your DMC color card, and you would know that those colors go together. But Teresa sent me this lovely, lovely card, and she sent me some tea samples. So this one right here is Vanilla Apple Hibiscus. She knows I do really enjoy hibiscus teas, and they are healthy for you as well. So there was a couple that she had that she really loves. She loves this one and the watermelon, and uses them as sun tea all summer, and drinks them iced, which I could totally see. The watermelon definitely, it actually does taste like watermelon. So she asked me if I had those ones, and I said no. So she sent me those samples and another one, a tin of something that is one of Mo's favorites. So he was very appreciative because he loves that tea. So thank you so much, Teresa, for thinking about us. And hopefully you're drinking some tea as well. Mine is, it's like, I drink tea from the whole spectrum. It starts off hot and I'll sip it, and then it gets to more lukewarm down to cold, and I'll sip it the entire time. It doesn't really matter to me because they're all flavored and herbal and this, that, and the other. So, that was a lovely little package from Teresa this week, so thank you so much for that. And this card obviously is going to go up for inspiration up there. Okay, shopping. I have some fabric to show you. I have an order, and then I have a fabric of the month. So we'll start with the fabric of the month. This is so this would have been May from Bestitch Me. I am in the colors, not the neutrals. I've seen a lot of neutrals. I know what the neutrals is, but I haven't seen anybody that gets the colors. I think some people do like half and half, but I just use color for all 12 months. And I have to say, I am stymied a little bit. I mean, obviously, we'll figure it out eventually, but this one has got me a little bit stymied, I'm not going to lie, of what I'm going to stitch on this. So look away if you do not want to see it. This is 18 count Aida. It is the colors of Bestitch Me, and it is called Fruit Salad. Are you ready? Here we go. Yep. Usually I can figure things out, and I did eventually figure out Imagine from Mystic Fabrics, and I put the Haunted Library on that. So this will look at all the different colors. And again, so if I wanted to focus with this color, I could, if I was doing smalls, you know, and that it's a little bit, obviously, as usual, it's a little starker on the camera, but this is pretty modeled. This, I'm not going to lie, that area is pretty modeled. So if you know the things I like to stitch and you have some ideas, throw them at me. All right, I'm going to put it down. Most of the time, if I don't have something in mind, I can kind of have some sort of thought about it, but this one, I gotta say, I have to have a long think on that one. Okay, and then I placed an order, actually the same day, because usually they both take a long time, is Bestitch Me and Fabrics by Stephanie. Stephanie was on the ball, and Stephanie went to Garan Stitchery's Florida retreat event, so I don't know how she got stuff done. I got this order within I believe it was within 2.5 weeks of me ordering. And Stephanie generally runs 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks. Some of this I got was just to replenish because frankly, I didn't have any idea. I knew I was using these fabrics. So I picked up some more Friendship Green. These are 18 count Aidas. It's a wonderful green. I love it for just a lot of base different things, and a lot of colors and patterns go well on this. This is kind of my version of a neutral. And then I got a large piece of Nantucket Sky because you know it's one of my favorites for outdoor stuff and stitches, or anything where I want kind of a lightish blue and I want like that idea of look at the idea of a sky. It's more subtle in person, but you can see it. It's just gorgeous. So Nantucket Sky and Friendship Green are like all the time. And I did get a bigger piece of this because I am using this for Summer Quaker by Lila Studio. I have a fat quarter of it, 18 by 26. So Stephanie's, you order 18 by 26, 26 by 36 or a yard. I have a bigger piece of this that I hadn't dug into. So that's what I'll use for Summer Quaker. But then I have a nice batch of this. Then I just wanted to try 2 others. This one is called Silver Wing, Angel Wing. Sorry, it is silver. That's why it made me think of it. But it's very, 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 I'm not even sure how much it'll come up on the camera. Subtle. Very light kind of gray. And this one actually, if the other piece doesn't work out, I bet you this piece, because it is an 18 by 26, would work for my temperature tree. And I really wanted a gray or something very light and subtle for the temperature tree. I'm going to put that out and put that with the temperature chart just to think about it, because I want the colors of the temperatures to be the star, and I don't want the fabric to take away from that at all. And then this one was a complete, so Angel Wing was a complete new one for me, and this one was too, and I just got it for curiosity. It's Ceridwen, I'll show you, because you know I'm not saying it right, I'm sure. 18 count, and it's got kind of that green tone, but there are pinks in there. Isn't that pretty? No idea. This was one of those I'm going to order to see what it looks like in person. A lot of Stephanie's pictures are on linen. I think she dyes a lot of linen. And so obviously 18 count Aida, it will look a little bit different than that. But this is really, really cool. So I'm really not sure what I would stitch with it, but glad I got it. And like I said, Stephanie was on her game from order to when I received it, when I got the shipping notice, I was shocked. I said, wow. And, you know, once things are shipped, then it's not, it's the post office that, you know, could mess up, but it's certainly not the person who's shipping's fault at that point. But that's once people have it in their hands. Sometimes companies will print the shipping label, so you get a notice saying it's shipped, and then it doesn't ship for a week or two. So you kind of have to watch that. You have to kind of click in and see if the post office is waiting for it or if the post office has it, type of thing. But anyway, Stephanie had these and they were shipped right away as soon as that was done. That's my shopping. You know, fabrics is my thing. It's my jam. I really like to change it up with the fabrics. So that's why I give myself a really nice base. And at some point, if I need to take a break from buying fabrics, I have a base of fabrics that I can really work with. I have them in, you can't see them, they're in bins over there. But there is an area that down here on the floor that need to be wrapped around the comic book. One day I just need to, you know what I need to do is I need to throw on somebody's Flosstube, sit on the floor and just wrap is what I need to do. So one day maybe I will do that. And then that's one step closer to this place being neat and I can give you a full tour. I'm so excited. But I still have some things I don't know what to do with. So that's what I'm still working on. Okay, so that's the shopping. Let us do the giveaway. And nope, this video is not going to be short and fast because I have a few other things to talk about. That's all right. I Zoomed with a friend yesterday and she was saying she usually watches my videos in parts, which I totally get because I do the same thing. I'll start people and then, you know, if it's over, say over 45 minutes, there's a lot of times I have to stop and go back to it type of thing. So I get it. I get it. All right. So this week's giveaway, I was talking and wrapping because I had just thrown the names in the bowl. I hadn't mixed them around this morning. I'm giving away my copy of Satsuma Street's Forest. I did use it and stitch. You can see there is a little bit of a couple bends at the bottom, but it is not written on. It is perfectly fine on the inside. And so I asked you to say the word treat. And my winner is, who do I have? Tamara Pierce. Congratulations, Tamara. Let me put your name right up there. If you could get back to me with your address, I will be able to wrap this up. Thank you for, and you can either my email address or my Instagram. And if after 3 days, sometimes, you know, unless, well, if I'm traveling, see, I don't always tell you when I'm traveling. A lot of times if we are going out of town or something, I don't mention it until I come back. Just because, you know, just because. And so sometimes, and I generally look at my Gmails on the laptop, which sometimes comes with me, sometimes doesn't. So, you know, if you haven't heard from me in a you know, 3-day time period, generally, maybe I didn't see it, or sometimes they've gotten lost. So feel free to reach out again. And then sometimes I just don't look at my laptop. I do like to Zoom on the laptop though. So if I am Zooming, I definitely check it because I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, so this week, this was in the running for my June cross stitch camp. And I decided it was a little too much size-wise. I didn't want to overstress myself about getting a June finish. I wanted to just have fun with it. So this is called You Are My Sunshine. It's from Vintage Needlearts. So that's what it looks like. I was thinking like this area, that's a lot of stitching, that mound, and you know, there's just, it's super cute, just a lot of stitching. It is charted in mostly Classic Colorworks, and there is a couple DMCs. That was the other thing. She did not give a DMC alternative. So I just, honestly, I didn't feel like going to the charts and figuring out alternatives. So I decided I wasn't going to start it for June. Super cute. It is finished there on top of a box. She shows a picture here. where it's shown as kind of like a hanging sort of, you know, like a pillowish finish with a hanger on top. So just say the word yellow for sunshine. All right, so yellow. And I'll put your name in the blue bowl. Vintage Needle Arts. I think at one point it was My Vintage Needle Arts. Maybe she's changed her name. Vintage Needle Arts charts. They're black and white. If you've never done them, she usually uses the letters as symbols, which is what is the case. You can see here, just alphabet, capital alphabet letters. Pretty easy to read. I've stitched a few of her cows in the cow series. And I have a few other patterns. I'm not sure I've stitched them yet. But if you want to give it a try, and sometimes she gives a little story. Let's see if this one, no. They were stitched on 16 count aida though. Both that one and that one. So say the word yellow. I'll put your name in the blue bowl and we will pick a winner. And if you want to stitch that sometime this summer, I know the July cross stitch camp, the theme is something that grows. Well, flowers grow, birds grow, so you'll be covered type of thing. Alrighty, so that is the giveaway. Okay, before I get to life, I did want to talk about, this is kind of life-ish, right? So I have been talking about in my Flosstubes about how I am so excited for everybody within a couple weeks now, right? Who are going to StitchCon. There's 2 weekends, not this weekend, but the following weekend and then Father's Day weekend. StitchCon weekends A and B. So excited for every one of you who are going. I hope you have the most awesome, fantastic time. Now, there's a lot of us that, for whatever reason, you know, whether it's timing, it's money, it's travel, it's other things I'm not thinking of, health, whatever it happens to be, you can't go. You know, maybe it's just too big and a little bit overwhelming. I think that's for me. I'm not sure. You know, 300 people on a weekend feels really overwhelming to me. But for whatever reason, you may not be able to go. And I thought it would be fun to pick one of those weekends and do a virtual stitch weekend so that we could, and you feel, you know, it's not like you're committing to anything. You drop in if and when you can. So I am going to do on that, I should have put the dates on my, I meant to put the dates on my notes here. If I'm looking at the calendar, June. So June 9th, 10th, 11th. I think StitchCon starts on that Thursday and it goes the 8th through 11th. We're going to start on the 9th. So we're going to do 9th, 10th, 11th. 9th, yeah. I'm like feeling like I have a lisp there. And what we will do is we will have an opening stitch. So it's going to be all on Zoom. If you've never Zoomed before and you would like to try it, you want to practice logging in, reach out to me. I can create like a sample meeting, even if we can't, even if it's just a 5-minute for you to try. And, you know, we're not going to, you know, we don't have time to sit and stitch, but you want to practice. I'm happy to try to work with you on that. Just reach out to me on Instagram, in my Facebook page, if you want to message me there, although I don't see those as often, or on Gmail. And I'm going to do one session on Friday night. So we'll kind of have like an opening stitch kind of, yay, let's all stitch together on Friday night. We will have 3, probably 2-hour stitch sessions on Saturday. I'm thinking, and this is just tentative, 11 to 1, 3 to 5, 7 to 9. That way we can hit all the different zones in the world, not just US, but all over the world. So if anybody wants to join, they might have a chance. And then on Sunday, I think I would do something like a 1 to 3, and probably maybe like finish it off with like a 6 to 9 or something. I am in Eastern Standard Time, so it would be all the Eastern Standard. Think New York, I'm in the same time zone as that. So that's what all those times would be. That's kind of an idea with it. What I will do is, if you're in my Facebook page, I will set up an event, and for each of those, what is that? 3, 4, 6 time blocks over the weekend, there will be an ID and password for each of the different 6 ones. So if there's one you can come and go in, you just have to look for that. You do not have to be on Facebook. This is all about us just being together and stitching. So if you are not, don't worry. If you would like to participate, reach out to me. I would say Gmail would be the easiest, because what I will do is I'll probably make some sort of document, and then I can just, cut and paste the times and passwords and IDs for you. Feel free to reach out on Instagram as well if you know there's only one bracket that you can go to or whatever, and I'd be happy to give you that information. This is the first time I am hosting anything beyond a one-on-one Zoom. In fact, I'm only very, very new to hosting Zoom. So Amy was teaching me things yesterday, and I'm still, so it could be a little dicey when we get together next weekend. So just keep all of that in mind. If you're a Zoom expert, I am definitely not. You might be teaching me a few things. But where was I going with that? I can't remember. Maybe it'll come back to me. I'm telling you, this mid-50s brain, things just whoop, go right out. But yeah, you know, what we'll do is, oh, I know what I don't want to just put it on my description box because I am really new to this and I don't know what to do if there's troublesome, you know, like non-stitcher, uninvited sort of, I don't know how to handle all of that yet with Zoom. I'm kind of learning. So I'd like to just keep it, you know, in-house with all of us stitchers kind of thing. So for this time around, I am going to have a main event on Facebook, but again, not required in any way, shape, or form. You are welcome regardless. I know that lots of people have lots of reasons not to be on certain, so even Instagram, right? And I don't even do all the others. So, you know, so I want you to feel welcome regardless. And like I said, if you've never done it, I will, you know, let's chat and I'll try to walk you through as best as I can stumble through it. Yeah, I'm super excited. I think what I'll do for each session, there'll be a quote unquote theme that I'm focused on. So like one of them would just be, let's just stitch. One of them, I'm going to concentrate on doing a new start. And one of them is going to be scrapbooking. I'll scrapbook some of my pages during that Zoom. One of them will be, I think I'm going to try to start something new, like a mill hill. I figured anybody on can help me out if I'm messing up somehow or other. You do not have to follow the themes. I just thought it'd be fun for me to kind of shake it up for myself. You could just sit and stitch or just sit and chill out or whatever. Just a chance to kind of get together with people because that's what StitchCon is about, right? It's togetherness and stitchers coming together. Sometimes it just can't happen in person. So let's embrace that idea of all of us being together, and we'll rejoice for those who can do it in person, and we'll have a little something for those of us who can't. All right, so that is the information on that. My Facebook people, I'll probably put something up this weekend to get more details if you want to ask any questions, and feel free to reach out on any of those other places if you have questions or know that you'll want me to send you like a timetable, whatever, schedule, that's what I'm looking for, of how, when I have it all set, I'd be happy to do that. And then we'll muddle through together. And if there's problems, we'll figure them out maybe together, and hopefully there won't be. We can just stitch and enjoy ourselves. I've already told Mo next weekend he's on his own for pretty much the weekend, except for here and there, you know, when I have free moments. And he's cool with it. He's fine with it. I know there'll be pickleball on the agenda at some point. And so yeah, so that's that. In regards to life, not a ton. We didn't do a ton this Memorial Day weekend. Weather was Monday was washed out, completely washed out for the most part. I think the end of the day it might have gotten a little lighter. I really don't know what we did. One day we did barbecue. I mean, it was really just the 5 of us most of the weekend. Here and there, things happening. And like I said, I was able to jump in Friday night Zoom. I think there were options Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and I don't know what happened. I don't know exactly what I did, but I missed them. That's all right. There'll be other chances. Got some stitching in, but probably not as much with everybody around. So the house is definitely quieter. Connor is obviously still here for the summer, but there's just 3 of us. So there'll be a little different vibe, and I probably will get more into a stitching schedule. My mind was completely blown yesterday. Somebody was talking about going to Salty Yarns, which is it was Ocean City on the boardwalk in Maryland. And my mind is blown. A few months ago, they moved. So I want to say it's Berlin, Maryland, but it's still Ocean it's not far from Ocean City. I immediately Googled the directions. It's actually probably easier for me to get to in season. Out of season, it probably took about 45 to 50 minutes because it was literally the tip of the Ocean City. So it would take me probably a half an hour, 25 minutes to get to Ocean City from where I am in Delaware, off season. But then you had to go all the way down. So it was another, like 30 minutes or so. And parking was a bit dicey. In season, I don't know. I would never do it because, it's one road, and Ocean City in the summer is very touristy, right? And even Delaware is very touristy. So I have to pass through every beach town and every beach area. And so I would never consider going in season. But now what I can do is I can go into the state and pick up another road and take that all the way down. That goes right into Maryland and pretty much into the area where Salted Yarns is going to be. So I'm super, super excited. I think there's a road trip in my future, near future, very near future, to go down there. So I'm super excited. My mind was blown. Had no idea, no clue that they had moved. I would have gone there before now if I'd known that. So that will be something I can hopefully chat about in the future. Near future, very near future. We did go to there's a beautiful nursery. It's probably about 20 minutes away from us. It's huge. We had gotten somebody, because I'm not very good with flowers. We had gotten somebody redo our entire front area of our house where the little beds are, because we had the builder flowers and pretty much nothing was doing well. So we had a landscape guy come in. He redid everything. And I was talking to him about my window box, and he recommended this place because that's where he gets all of his plants, trees, flowers, you name it. So we go there, and you can tell it is huge. There's one whole area that I think is really more like commercial landscape or everything else, although then they have this other area where you can go and shop. And so we went and we got some flowers for the window box. Connor oversaw Mo putting them in so that Mo was doing them right, but Connor wants to make sure we're doing it right, because how he's the plant person in our family. He's the one that knows plants the best. And we got a few little planter thingies to put on either side of it. We had just like 3 or 4 steps that go up before the front door. So we got a couple of those. They're seasonal flowers, so they're red, white, and blue right now. It's really cute. So we got those, and I am thinking about going back, and now that my season is a 3 season-ish, and I'd have to bring it in the winter, I'm thinking of they had Meyer lemon trees. So I'm thinking of trying my hand at that and sticking it, at least for now, on the, I'm calling it a porch, but it's 3-season dish. It's not really a sunroom. It's not a screen porch. It's kind of, it's a mixture. It's a hybrid. So, and then in the winter, I'd have to bring it in type of thing. But I think I know where I'd put it in the winter too. So I think it'd be okay. So I'm, especially with Connor here for the next couple months, I thought it might be fun. He can make sure I don't overwater it, because that is my big downfall, is I overwater plants thinking that they need more than they knew. I always feel bad. I feel like they need more. They'd be thirsty. And then I wait too long, and then I starve the poor things. So, so we'll see if my plant adventures go well. If you have any tips for growing Meyer lemon trees, let me know. Because I think that is something I'm going to do. I might take Connor and go down there and we'll pick one out type of thing. Kind of like a thing for us to do too, because, I don't generally play a lot of video games, and, kid his age, that is one thing that's big. And so, we got to find things that, we can kind of do together. So I thought that might be kind of fun. So that, I don't know if that happened this weekend, maybe. I'm not sure what the plans are. Our weather is finally turning a little bit, and we're actually going to hit 72 today. Woo! Northern Delaware they've been in the last couple days in the 80s. I don't know if they've hit 90, but down here by the beaches, it has been, whew. If this was your week of vacation, you had a rough week, because the weather was definitely low 60s. But, it happens, I guess. I'd be curious to see what last year's temps were, because last year was a blur after Mo tore his Achilles, but I really feel like May was not this cold as it was this year. So that's where your temperature charts come in handy. All right, so nothing super exciting going on, but again, I might have a new plant. I might hit the scrapbooks. I always call it the scrapbook store, the cross stitch store. I don't know why. All those years of scrapbooking, I guess. But I might hit the needlework shop and have some stuff to report about that. And we're just going to wing it from there. Oh, and I'm just going to get excited getting ready for next weekend. And I'll talk about it again, obviously next video, but at that point it's getting ready to go. So hopefully I will do some thoughts on getting everything done up this weekend for how I want to plan it. So that's that. All right. That's life. That's it. I'm taping a little bit later today. I just couldn't get myself, I was up, just couldn't get myself going this morning as quick as I wanted to. So I'm filming it's probably 11:09. So it's not late, but there's been days where I can get started filming at 8 a.m. and this was not one of those days. So we are going to leave you off so I can try to upload this and get things going and get my day going. Not sure what the plans are, but I'm looking at a beautiful sunshine day out there and there are no clouds in that sky. So let's see what we'll do. Maybe some beach stitching and that, you know, beach stitching right here. Right. Oh no, on the beach. I was going to say I could switch this to, because it would be beach stitching, to the project bag that Helen D made for me for on the beach, but I'm still stitching on the beach. I got to get that finished so I can use it for another project. Anyway, that's it. Now I'm rambling. I hope you have a phenomenal weekend, whatever you are doing. If things are a little tougher trying, I'm thinking about you, and I hope that you get through it the best possible way that you can. We're here for you. Please make sure you take care of yourself. Self-care is not selfish. It is super important, and your well-being matters. You matter. So take care of yourself and put yourself first sometimes. It took me a long time, way longer than it should, to understand that concept. And for the longest time, I put myself last. And, you know, I paid for it. Mentally, physically, the whole bit. So please, please, please put yourself first sometimes. It is super important. All right. Until next time, happy stitching.